Hey guys, it's Wolfie. I'm back here today, and I am on my desktop. Today, I'm here giving you guys a tutorial on basically how I do my thumbnails from the render aspect to basically the Photoshop aspect of it. So if you want to just watch the Photoshop aspect of it, then you can. I'm going to go ahead and probably leave a little annotation up at the top for you guys to go click on, and it'll take you right to the Photoshop. Alright, so let's get started. So basically, all you really need is any kind of animating thing. You can use Novaskin if you wanted to. I normally don't use Novaskin because it's that bad. Or you could use MindMaker, which is free, for most of you guys can go ahead and get it. It's, I believe, only for Windows, so if you want to go ahead and get it, you can. A link in the description for you guys to go download. So basically, I use a Lightroom, and this is, I believe, a paid Lightroom, so I'm going to go ahead and open this up. You guys can use whatever Lightroom you can, but I personally like to use this Lightroom. If you guys have your own preferences, then that's yours, but this is mine. So right here we have, I do not remember the Lightroom name, but we have this one. If I do remember, I'll put it up on the screen. But we're going to go ahead and use the FMR 5, version 5. And normally I will use the edited one for females. If it's like just a topic video, or if it's for mixed arcade, I will normally use those. So you can really use whatever rig you feel comfortable with. I don't like Weedline because it's just, I personally think it's not that good. And I just don't know how to use it. So normally mine will take time to load in because for some strange reason it likes to take forever. So I'll skip right to when it loads up. Alright, so it's loaded up now. So now all you gotta do is just double click, and I'm gonna go ahead and time out of that, whatever that was. And I'm gonna go ahead and exit out of that. Normally you can, if you're using like 2 people, then you can go ahead and use 2. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and click here, and this is pretty much everything. If you know how to use Cinema 4D, then great. If you don't, then you might want to go ahead and watch a video, because I'm not gonna go into doing whatever it is, and I'll probably speed up what I'm gonna be doing here. So yeah, alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and just choose my skin. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and look for it. I believe it's in documents. I have random things in here, so don't ask. There it is. Alright, so my skin looks pretty weird right now. I'm gonna go ahead and just turn off all these features because I don't normally like to use them. I'm gonna go ahead and second hat layer. So let's go ahead, and I'm gonna do 2 different versions. So I'm gonna do one for like an SMP thumbnail, and then one for a SG thumbnail. So I'm going to go ahead and do the SMP thumbnail first. So normally, I will use iCraft for this occasion because I'm no longer in an SMP and I'm no longer in iCraft, but because I loved iCraft so much, I'm going to go ahead and use it. So I'd probably add in the text either in Photoshop if you feel comfortable with doing that, or you can do it in Cinema 4D. I normally do it in Cinema 4D. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Mode Graph, and then click on Mode Text. So this will bring up a text in just a second here. For some reason, mine likes to like lag and stuff. And I normally just come down here, click on, I normally change the text to whatever I want. I normally use prime time because it looks so much better. Where is it? Here it is. So let's go ahead and click on here. This is, okay, so left, that means it's to the far left. To the right, it means it's to the right. It's wherever the text is placed. So normally I put it in the middle. But yeah, so also you can change the depth of it. I normally don't tend to change the depth, but this goes how far back it goes and how far, like, you know, how far forward and whatnot. So I normally just tend to leave it at wherever it is, but I'm going to go ahead and leave it right there. And so I'm going to go ahead and change this text to iCraft. And I'll normally just leave it at whatever it is, but sometimes I won't. So let's go ahead and shrink this down. Like right there? Now let's go a little bit smaller. I'm gonna go ahead and move this up. If you want to use like armor for whatever rig you're using, you can. I just normally don't like to use armor, but for this, I guess I'll use armor. I'm gonna go ahead and just turn all these on, and hopefully, for some strange reason, the head armor piece just looks really strange on my skin. I think it's just because I have a 2-layer. But I'm gonna go ahead and, where is the armor? There it is. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and switch, you know, I'm gonna switch it to iron. Iron, and iron. Alright, so we have all iron on here. I normally just tend to extrude this, but because this is just a tutorial, I'm not really gonna do anything. Normally with these, I don't tend to do really like these kind of things. I don't really create these kind of thumbnails for other people. I normally just do SG factions. I can do SMP thumbnails, but I just prefer not to. But if it's like, if you really want one that bad, then you can go ahead and message me. You still have to pay though. I'm still working on my shop, so as soon as that gets up, then I will probably do my best. And I will have my other Skype too down there, so once you pay, it'll be like, it'll tell you what the Skype is. But yeah, so that's just basically about it. I'm gonna go ahead and let this finish rendering. Alright, so here's our finished render. I'm gonna render it again for the second time, but if you want to go ahead and change the way the text looks, you can. I don't normally like to, but I just, you can definitely move it around whatever way you want. If you want to move it left or right, you can. But I'm going to go ahead and render this out, and I'll be back with you guys once it's done. Alright guys, now that it is done rendering, we are going to go ahead and save this to our desktop, or wherever you want to save it. I normally just save it to wherever. I'll go ahead and save it to my downloads. Why not? Don't question some of the things I have in here. I need them for something. Once you finish rendering it out, just save it to your desktop. Don't exit out of it because you'll still need it afterwards. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and do a SG thumbnail, and I will be back with you guys once I am done. Alright guys, and I am back. So I finished rendering both of the thumbnails, and I went ahead and just left this open. You might want to go ahead and leave it open as well, because you might have to go ahead and change some things, like if you wanted to fix the way the text looks or wanted to make it brighter. I normally just save whatever I'm doing. So before you close out of it, please just keep it open. If you're using Cinema 4D or Minimator, I suggest doing so. So we have here both of our renders here. And yeah, it's kind of awkward to render an iCraft thing when I'm no longer a part of iCraft. But yeah, so that's my SG thumbnail. It probably could have gone light. It probably could have gotten lighter down here. But you know what? I'm not going to worry about that now. I may go back and change that. But yeah, so with this fishing rod, it took me forever how to find out how to do it. But it's pretty easy. You just gotta go ahead and go into this, you gotta open the fishing rod rig or whatever and just put it in there. You're gonna go have to click this and then click on this, and it'll normally allow you to move it around, but I sometimes will mess up and I won't do it right, so I'm not gonna worry about that right now. But we're gonna go ahead and open up Photoshop, and it's probably gonna give me something completely new and something completely different, so I'm gonna go ahead and drag this in there. I have the newest version of Photoshop out, so, you know, if you don't, then, and yours doesn't look like mine, then I don't know what to do. As long as you know how to use it, I can help you, but if you don't, then I'm sorry, I don't know. But let's go ahead and create a new, whatever you call it, project, and we're gonna go ahead and uncheck this layer for background, and then we're gonna go ahead and press Control A, and make sure it's selected. Sometimes it might come with a different layer, it might come with another layer, which sometimes mine does that, but I don't think it did this time. Then you're gonna press Control C, and that's gonna copy it, and you're gonna go back to your layer, and then you're gonna press Control V, and it'll look big, but pretty much just press Control T, and you're gonna just shrink it down, press Shift, and just shrink it down, and it should be a good a decent amount. The size should be pretty good, I think. The L was a pain in the butt. I could not squish it in there. So the L is like off in the distance, like, hey, I'm super cool or whatever. I don't know. But we're going to go ahead and press check. And that's pretty much it. It did look pixelated before, but now it looks completely fine. So I'm going to go ahead and just add in some extra stuff that I normally do. You can follow along if you want. I just normally don't tend to do this. This is normally just, it brightens the layer or whatever, but I don't. Sometimes I'll do this, sometimes I won't. But I'm going to go ahead and put an inner shadow. This will give it like a little glow effect to it, which I really like. It looks really cool on it. And I'm going to go ahead and just find some random SG thing I got probably somewhere in here on my other desktop or on my other monitor. Not desktop. I don't want a second desktop. That'd be a little bit strange. I'm going to go ahead and select this one. And we're going to go ahead and just, whoa. Okay, that was weird. We're going to go ahead and drag this so it's like that. And check this. I'm gonna go ahead and hide all these layers because I don't really need to do that. Sometimes I like to turn up the hue and saturation on this just to make it look a little bit brighter. One other thing I like to do is normally I'll just find a sky image, just, you know, sky background. Just, it can be anything. I normally like to pick whatever from, you know, whatever. As long as it's like the same size here. If it's like too big, then it might not work, but, you know, whatever. And let's see, what's a good one? I tend to pick the realistic ones. That might look good, but I think it's because the sun's there. I think I'm gonna find another one. Let's go ahead and use this one. This one looks pretty good. Once it loads in, thank you. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and drag this to my second monitor, and then I'm gonna go ahead and place this in here. And I'm gonna go ahead and just make it so it fits. and drag it where I want it to go. Press check mark. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down to this second layer. You don't have to do this. This is just something I like to do. Ow, because it's just something that makes it look a little bit better. So I'm going to go ahead and select all of this here. I don't really care about like these extra little parts. It doesn't really matter, honestly. So I'm going to go ahead and check this layer again. I'm going to go ahead and press Control C, and then I'm going to go ahead and delete this layer. Oops, and let me go ahead and unselect everything here. And let me just press delete and then Control Shift N. That creates a new layer for us. And then we go ahead and paste that, and we just put this over here. This gives it kind of a second layer so it looks nicer. This is what I normally do. You don't have to do this. This is just something I personally like to do. Then I'll put my layer back on top, and I will sometimes modify this so it's kind of like not so bright. There we go. So it's like that, and it looks like, you know, you're using some really cool effects and whatnot. So next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to add some effects to this sword. So I'm going to go ahead and press Control Shift N, and that's going to give us a new layer once again. And I'm going to go ahead and select my paintbrush tool, and I'm going to try and find something that kind of matches, that kind of does. I'm going to go ahead and find something that matches pretty much the sword length. I'm going to bring down the hardness on that because that might not be as good. I just do this until I get the right kind of streak. Most people tend to do something different, but I don't really like to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and press on overlay. Sometimes you can do overlay. It doesn't really look that good though. I personally don't think it does. I'm going to do soft light. I'm going to go back to normal, and then we're going to, that looks just pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and move this down a bit so it looks a little bit better. And then I'm going to go ahead and erase some stuff here. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in here a little bit. And we're going to go ahead and erase some stuff. I suggest turning down. If you want to do this part, you can go ahead and turn this down. It won't erase as much, and it won't look really strange. Here, I'll show you what it looks like when you just have it at 100% on the opacity. It looks really strange, and I just personally don't like it. It just looks a little bit strange, but you can do whatever you want. It's your art. You can do whatever you'd like. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this down again, and I'm going to go ahead and just bring this down a bit. I like to keep some of it here because then it makes it look like it's still connected with this, but, you know, whatever, you know, whoever, if you want, you can do, you do you. You do you. That's what I'll say. But we're going to go ahead, and I think that's just about it I want to do all for this. I mean, normally I'll put in some glow effects to this, but I don't really want to, so I'm going to go ahead and open up probably some kind of pack I've got here, some light pack or whatever, or, you know, Photoshop kind of thing. I bet by the time this video goes out, my transparent background pack will be out. I hope so, or if it's not, then I'll probably go ahead and link it in this video for you guys to go ahead and use. But yeah, so this is the cookie pack. I really suggest this one to anyone who really likes these kind of things. It's got all different kinds of things here, and it's really good to use. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go through here and find pretty much anything that looks really good. I might go ahead and use one of these. I normally tend to just, if it's kind of like a Mindplex kind of thing and not so serious, then I'll use this kind of thing. But for MCSG, I kind of like to keep those thumbnails a little bit more serious looking, and just like if it's a certain thing, I don't know. It really depends on how you like it. It's just personal preference, but I like to keep mine like this. So I'm going to go ahead and just do some extra things here. And this kind of gives it a more happy looking effect. So more like the video is more clickable. Looks like it's going to be more clickable. I normally tend to turn down the saturation on this so it's white, so it kind of it matches with the whole effect going on here. I'm just going to press Control J. This is going to copy our layer, and I'm going to go ahead and bring this up here so we can have the same thing happening up here. See, this looks pretty good. I really like this. And I sometimes will add a little background, which I tend to use in Paint.net. I will rarely ever use Paint.net, but it's really good if you just don't have Photoshop, you don't know how to do stuff to get Photoshop. But I'm going to go ahead and show you if you want to go ahead and do this. I'll probably just show another picture of me just using only Paint.net for you guys to see, but 1280 by 720. I put these little borders, I make these little borders that are actually really, really cool, and I use for a lot of videos on other people's. I'm going to go ahead and select, yeah, rectangle. Okay, so I'm going to press Shift and bring this down, and then match it so it kind of looks good. What I don't like about this is it doesn't tell you when you're right at it, so you kind of have to zoom in and see. There we go. So I normally just tend to bring this in a little bit. 17 looks pretty good. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and save this. So File, Save As. I'm going to go ahead and Desktop. I'm just going to name this Black Border. And this is normally what I normally, this is what I normally use for anything along the lines of this. But I'm going to go ahead and take this, drag it in here, and we are going to go ahead and open this back up so it looks bigger. And I'm going to put these at the very corners. And I'm probably going to uncheck these layers because, oh, I need to check that. All right, so let's go ahead and see. So normally I just set this layer style to overlay, or I'll set it to soft light. And then bring it down a bit. So I don't know, it just makes the video kind of, the idea of it look better. I think it just makes it stand out more to me. But this isn't for everyone. This is just mainly for me, and sometimes I'll shrink it down, the render, so it kind of fits within the border, so it doesn't look as strange, but, you know, this is just basically simply what I do. Alright, so this is basically all I had to do. You can add in little sparkly effects on your background character. You can do whatever you want. This is normally what I do. And I think this looks fantastic, so yeah, that's pretty much just it for the survival games thumbnail, or factions, or whatever you want to do. This is just what I prefer. But let's go ahead and move on right to the iCraft thumbnail. Alright, so we're going to come over here, and we're going to press new. We're going to do a whole new. Alright, so now we're going to start a new project, so we're going to go ahead and change the settings again. So that's 1280 by 720. And we have a new little layer here, so we're going to just press Control A and Control C. I'm pretty sure you guys know this by now, but we're going to go ahead and put that there. We're going to shrink this down so we can see it. Thank you. Kind of gets a little bit difficult when I rendered it out like this. I didn't expect it to render out like this. But you know what? Whatever, we can go back and always fix it. I'm going to do pretty much the same thing I did for the survival games thumbnail. I'm going to add a gradient effect. Also, I suggest changing this depending on which way the sun is. You might want to change this, but I don't normally tend to. I'm going to bring this down actually a bit. So normally you can find anything. I normally recommend finding something like this, with no building in the background. Or whatever you can find. Normally I'll take a screenshot in shaders, which is actually a great idea. I'm going to go ahead and do that now. I'm going to find I'm going to open up Minecraft and see what I can find. I normally just create a world, or if you have shaders installed already and you're going to log on to the server just to take a screenshot, then I suggest doing so. Because it just makes the video more, the thumbnail look more presentable and much better. If you take it kind of without shaders, then it looks a little bit strange and just kind of like you didn't put any effort into it. This is just my personal preference, though. You guys don't have to do this. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to an Optifine 1.8, because Optifine 1.8.8 has shaders, and I love shaders to death. I'm going to go ahead and use this, and I will be back with you guys. I will show you two different photos, one with and without shaders, just to show you a comparison. Alright guys, and I'm back, so I'm going to go ahead and show you the difference between these two. This is what I normally find in shaders, and also just to keep in mind that you only need shaders for literally about 2 minutes, just if you want to take a screenshot. Don't think you need to use it for your videos. Normally when I use shaders, in screenshots, normally it means I'm not using it in videos, but sometimes I will use it in videos. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the difference. This is what it looks like without shaders, and this is what it looks like with shaders, but also do keep in mind that I do like to do my little special trick here, and just select here, you know, whatever I need to select, and I normally just put in whatever I need to. The little effect of the clouds here, I like to do, and I'm going to go ahead and show this, or enlarge this, and then fix this. And we're going to go ahead and oops. Okay, that's another shaders photo, but I don't tend to like to use those kinds because it's just too intense and too heavy for me. We're going to go ahead and press Control, let's go ahead, you know what, let's go ahead and just do this, Control C, and then we can just delete this layer, oops, and then delete this layer, and then Control Shift N, new layer, and we're going to go ahead and fix this. So let's go ahead and fix this right here. There we go. Alright, so sometimes it'll have these little areas over here where they're not really like textured or anything, so I normally just will bring this down sometimes, like it really depends, but If it has like this problem right here, then normally you can just boost up the brightness of it to give it a little bit more of a glow, and then use an eraser, a little eraser pen, or whatever you want to call this. Oops. Okay. And then sometimes I'll do this. Oops! I totally forgot that we need to do it on this layer. And then I think we can bring down the hue and saturation on that. Yeah, like that. That looks good. Yeah, well, that doesn't really look that good, but you know what? We're just gonna leave it like that. We're just gonna leave it like that. I don't think it's that important, but I'm gonna go ahead and keep it to this because this is normally what I used to like. But you can add whatever effect you want to. I'm probably not gonna add an effect for this one unless if there's something I find that's really good. You know, we can probably use this thin one. Let's see what else is there. There are these effects. Yeah, there's nothing really here I like, but you can definitely do whatever you want. I tend to use particles for like SMP thumbnails because they look really good. So I'm just going to press here to probably about here, I think. Yeah, actually I might use this one. Here, let's try this one. But I do definitely suggest boosting up always the hue and saturation on these because they tend to look a lot better whenever you're doing it. See, like this, it kind of makes it more poof. I don't know, it makes it look popped. It kind of pops to me. Ow, I just hit my hand on the mic. But anyways, I'm so sorry if this video was kind of, this last little part kind of died down. But it's just really, honestly, I don't do SG or kind of SMP thumbnails anymore. So I don't really have to worry about doing these too much. But I'm probably, you know, I'm going to try that. I'm going to try that and see how that looks. You know what? It's worth a try. Control T. Oh, wow. That looks 10 times better. But anyways, guys, I hope you did enjoy. Please leave a like if you did. And let me know if this helped you. Tweet out to me. And show me your artwork, because I definitely want to see it. It would look amazing, and I'm sure it would look amazing. But, oh, I gotta fix that. Oh, no! Okay, sorry. I'm like a perfectionist, so I gotta fix anything that doesn't look right. But yeah, I guess I'll talk to you guys all in the next video. Please definitely tweet out to me. I want to see you guys' artwork. I'm sure it's, like, amazing. Especially because you learn, like, from moi. No, I'm kidding. But anyways, guys, I will see you guys all in the next video. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!